This episode brought to you by RP Strength. Want to get leaner or build muscle, or maybe you want to increase your performance in the gym? Give the RP Diet Coach app a try. You just plug in your current stats, your goals, and timeline, and the app builds your diet. It'll tell you how much and when to eat and make weekly adjustments so you can stay on track to hitting your goals. Click the link in description to get the app for 33% off for your first 6 months. It's incredible. It's a really, really well thought out app. Like I said, you can put your food in there. It'll tell you when you need to eat. If you're like me, I get a little too busy every once in a while. And food is the one thing that gets thrown out the window. So it's been really good to keep me kind of on track. And they now allow you to put your intermittent fasting on, even though I know Nick hates that. But here it is. This episode is also brought to you by our partner, Whoop. When it comes to training, it's so important to know what your body is ready to handle and what it needs to recover. Oftentimes we push ourselves too hard, and that can result in overtraining or injury. You might know when you need to scale back a workout, but you might not know when your body needs to scale things back. And that's where Whoop is such a valuable tool. Whoop is a fitness tracker that provides personalized insight into how recovered your body is, how much stress you take on during the day and in training, and lets you know how well you sleep. It's like having a coach that lets you know what your body is ready to handle, how hard to push, and how much sleep you need to recover. I really like using the Whoop for recovery. I think for me, that's the biggest part of it. I know kind of what we have fitness wise, and as a fitness tracker, I don't use it quite as much. I try to usually within I think my average is around 15 or 16 on a day strain. But not necessarily as much worried about that. But the recovery, the HRV, the sleep, all that type of stuff is something I really look at and try to dive into every day. Hope you guys enjoy the listen, and we will see you next week.
But Ben,
we do need
you,
Ben.
To understand what news do you have for us?
Okay, I actually do have something. I'll start out with a bang, and then I gotta go.
Okay.
So you know how Brittany's in the conservatorship with her dad?
Hurry back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you remember Amanda Bynes? I think is her name
yes.
from All That. She's under that too, under that same
really?
thing, because she went mentally wild, and she's been begging the court system to let her control her mental, I guess instead of going to a hospital, maybe go to a different hospital or on a different medication. But she's been trying to do that for a long time now.
What show is
free
she on?
Amanda, you heard it here first.
Well,
free Amanda.
Why is it
Free
so hard to
Amanda.
get that back? I feel like they should be co-signed. You should not have one person in charge of everything.
I think if the court deems you mentally unstable, then someone can be appointed to be your
I feel
guardian.
You should have two guardians though, especially if you're famous like this, and you could have one guardian taking advantage of it all.
Didn't she have, it was the Amanda Bynes show, right?
The Amanda
her
show,
whole
yeah.
name. The Amanda
she
show.
was on, what was
All
that,
That.
Nickelodeon? All That? Yeah.
Oh, dang.
That Ben
Yeah.
just said.
What'd you say?
Ben just said that.
Oh, I'm like, I got some catching memory.
But seriously,
I knew
free
Rich
my
loved all
girl
that.
Amanda,
Wow.
because she's in the same boat as Brittany.
Okay, so do you
But
have
Brittany's
that Instagram
getting some
yet,
traction,
Ben?
so I think she'll be okay.
Is her Instagram similar to Brittany's?
I don't think so. I've looked at her Instagram.
Who's
I
in
just read
charge
this
of her
last
stuff?
night. Huh?
Who's in charge of her stuff?
I don't know. I just read a brief little article last night.
But
And how I came across it was apparently Dan Schneider left Nickelodeon. Or no, they parted ways with him in 2018. It was really kind of quiet on the DL. But dude, that guy has a foot fetish. And if you go back and watch,
Who's Dan Snyder?
I don't know who
iCarly,
that is.
Isn't that Dan Snyder?
he was the main producer for Nickelodeon. If you go back and watch his TV shows, it's always got weird feet stuff with the
What do
girls.
you mean?
There was
Really?
one whole episode where Carly's foot was stuck in the toe was stuck in the bathtub, and then on Twitter he'd said some really weird stuff. You can look this up for yourself. I'm not gonna get into details about that, but
Okay.
dude,
Did you see
he's
they
a
tried
whack
to cancel
job.
Eminem over last week?
No.
Yeah.
What happened?
Eminem ain't gonna be canceled.
No.
No. He actually came out with a song called Tone Deaf, and it's rough, really rough.
Ooh,
But
I can't
that guy's
Another one?
lyrics, he's pretty crazy how good he is with lyrics. And
So good how creative
yeah.
it is.
He's
It's called Tone Deaf. I want
Tone
to hear
Deaf.
this.
Yeah, you gotta watch the video. It's on YouTube.
Is
It's-
it in response to all of this?
Yes, it's
Wow.
not work safe. It's not
Yeah.
safe around kids. Like
Right.
it's
Okay.
Eminem. It's rough, but it's because they made a cartoon to it for the music video, and it's him, and it's like this kind of overproduced cartoon, but all the lyrics are on there, and you're just like, holy cow, how do you do that? He's a pretty like lyrical genius.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
awesome.
Stuff.
100% for sure.
Did you ever see the when he was not co-host, but just like a guest with Herb Street and Musburger in the Notre Dame Michigan game?
Oh no!
And he starts out and he's just like this, and they're talking to him, and he's just going like this, looking at the field. It's so funny.
Wow.
You need to look at that one too.
It's not possible to be canceled. It's not possible. You know what I mean? Like,
They're mad, honestly.
Yeah.
They're mad. I don't even know. They're saying Gen. What's the next? What's Haley? Gen Z is trying to cancel him. But they're mad about his Rihanna song, "Love the Way You Lie." But it's about domestic violence, like, and it's supposed to be bad, you know, like,
Right.
and the
Right.
bad things about it, and so.
there's
a lot of his songs are way worse than that one, actually.
I was gonna say, I can't believe that's the
He's
one.
probably. I mean, they're all politically incorrect. Like
Right.
everything,
For sure.
Come on.
we just take things out of context, and then
Right.
we want to. I'm talking about, like, when I say it's not possibly canceled, what does all that matter to me? It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm going to go live the life that I'm going to go live, and the people who are closest to me love me or hate me or what it is. You know, I just, that whole thing.
Well, he's got enough money that it's like,
That's it.
cancel me.
Right.
You know, like, what are you going to do? But he's got enough people that love him.
Right.
And, and he's actually helped people through a lot of stuff with his songs and stuff like that.
Right.
I was reading some of the comments on
Yeah.
there, and people are like, you guys have no idea what this guy, like, and I don't see how his music could help me,
Right.
but you know,
Right.
I haven't been in a lot of the situations that
Right.
people have been or that he was in, so.
To take things out of context, I guess is what I'm driving at.
Yeah.
To do that, that's wrong. Like, I just think that's not, on its face, there's zero integrity in that.
Right.
Let people stand for what they stand for, and then take them for that.
Yep.
And
you
then
don't
make
have to support them.
No, you
Don't
don't.
buy their stuff.
No.
We have 3 of the Dr. Seuss books that got canceled.
Wow.
Because Dr. Seuss is
What was the name of that British journalist? We saw that.
I don't know. That was great. That was so good.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
He flips his lid talking about, you know, everything that's politically correct.
yeah.
Mark.
I can't remember his name. I sent it to you guys.
He was talking about Laura Ingalls Wilder's
Wilder, yeah.
being canceled.
Because she wrote about slavery, right?
Right.
Little
But
House on
that's
the Prairie. Was that
what
it
she
was?
lived through. Like,
It was
Yeah.
during Jim Crow is what the point he
Yeah.
was making. And there was, like, in that perspective at that time, not right or wrong. It's just that's what they were going to be writing about.
and we don't need to forget those things because then what happens? We're doomed to
Right.
repeat them.
We're supposed to learn from those things and grow.
Like, it was wrong.
100%. There are the sin of slavery, the sin of racism, you know, what's happened to Native American people. All that is a gigantic black mark,
Oh, for
gigantic, and we need to not only learn from it, but there needs to be justice.
And it's happened in every culture, in
Everyone.
history. You know?
But that doesn't mean
No.
that doesn't mean that we don't keep coming forward.
Exactly.
And that we don't keep getting better.
Exactly.
All those things are things we should be thinking about right now.
For sure.
You know, no excuses. I just hate the idea of, how do you know what's right if you won't talk about what's wrong? How do you know? You know, like, if we can't be
We
in
don't
this
have a way
discussion,
to measure it
right,
against what has already happened.
right,
And if we keep
right.
trying to erase it, ooh, that was bad. We shouldn't have done that. No, hey, it was bad.
Fix bad speech with better speech.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yep.
Don't try to erase somebody off the face of the planet.
Right.
I don't have to believe what anybody says about anything. I don't. And some of it's just trying to use people and manipulate and take more power. And
Well, that seems to be, to me, like the other side of that whole issue with canceling things is, you know, they even, like, in the law, or if you're like an attorney, like, they teach you whatever you're arguing, put yourself on the other side and argue the other side, because that's the way to learn the most about the situation. So if we're teaching people not to understand disagreements or to disagree, to be one-sided, then you're just taking away a learning curve that is exceptional, and maybe you were wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe you're just convicted to something and you were incorrect. You'd never see that unless you had the opportunity to hear or argue the other side of it. So to me, like you're saying, it's so much as perception, but it's also having to learn and understand perspectives and putting in every circumstance, put yourself on the other side to fully learn and understand what the person is talking about, whether they're right or wrong, you know?
Yeah. I think like, I want to be careful too, because I believe in justice.
Yeah.
I really believe in that. And I believe that where we're at in the evolution of a modern day culture, there are no excuses. There are no excuses for racism.
Nope.
100%.
And there are no
Yeah.
excuses for the journey that I'm on in my life as a Native American and all that means to me. And I'm learning a ton about what that is. There are no excuses for that, and people should pay the hell attention.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
But I also think we need to do a great job in talking about the value of the past and being able to communicate those in ways where people can get something from it.
Right.
They can be educated. The vast majority of people that I know, this is just who Jim Hensel knows. I'm not putting this on you.
Yeah.
They're not racist.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
No.
They don't get it, and they need to be educated. And I'm guilty. I'm 100% guilty of not even
Don't have the
understanding
perspective.
much of
Right.
what's my culture.
Right.
Legitimately my culture. So there's got to be grace sometimes, and then there's got to be truth sometimes. And I think justice is important. Justice means you get what you deserve.
Well,
And that's important.
The cool thing about everything you just said too, because thank you for clarifying that. Obviously, like that's really valuable and important. But I mean, hey, it goes straight back to the Mayhem Mindset program. Like if you're making all your decisions based on values, that's and not emotion, that's going to supersede most of what we're talking about, you know?
Yeah. Show him the coin, Ellie.
Oh, shoot.
Wait, has
is
Ellie
this, can we
finished?
like,
Yeah, Ellie's finished.
Finish.
Yeah, Ellie's finished.
whoa,
Ellie's
what are you
100%
trying to
finished.
say
Well,
about
he gave me one earlier, and I gave it back because I have not.
Yeah.
I don't have all my stuff written in language.
Okay, I kind of said the same thing actually.
Yeah.
But
No, if
Silver
there's one
had
person the one person that's cool, she hasn't, some of the stuff she hasn't written down, but she's talked it all the way through.
Let's
And
talk more mindset. I'm ready.
I'm good with it.
I've talked it all through. But
So, I
and I've
mean,
written it down.
no
You
coin
have,
for you.
I do actually have, you I actually,
But I didn't finish it.
I actually
wanna
have
finish
all
it.
of your stuff. You actually have written it all
Yeah.
down. We just didn't finish it and put it into,
Into the thing. Yeah.
Has
into-
anyone else gotten a tattoo like you or made their own?
Ooh.
there are
How do I hold this up? to
10
see?
or 11 strength and honor tattoos
We'll have to have Ben just put a picture.
I was gonna say.
Oh,
out
yeah.
there. Which
10?
is 10 or 11 over
From
time.
this
What?
Yeah, from before it was Mayhem Mindset. No one has a Mayhem Mindset tattoo, but
You don't know that. Is there anyone out there that has a Mayhem Mindset
Yeah.
tattoo?
yeah, don't do that.
And if you finish the program, you get this really incredible coin.
The
signature.
strength and honor tattoo that are here though, there's a bunch of really cool versions of that out there where people have emailed me and said, "Hey man, I like to do that," or
Yeah.
You know.
You don't think there's any Mayhem Mindset tattoos out
I
there?
think I would get a Mayhem tattoo.
Yeah.
I would consider it.
I would get I think like for my life, actually, the truth is for my life, based on what this has been to me, I'm definitely going to do that at some point because this is.
I'm not allowed to get tattoos.
I'm like, you have like,
that
how many
sounds
do you
so
have?
sad.
Hey, how many Galatians tattoos are out there though?
There's a few.
There's a few.
Even more of different verses in the same font.
Yes, the same type
Yeah.
of,
Mm-hmm.
which
That's what
is
I was thinking, yeah.
which is on its face kind of creepy at first, but then actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, when
Yeah.
you get what someone's trying to do, you're like, oh, I
Yeah,
see that.
it's-
I see that.
But how many of your face are on people,
I don't
you
think
think?
there's any. I haven't seen any face
Gosh,
tattoos.
No,
they
I
I have
thought-
seen signature tattoos where I've like signed somebody's arm or leg and they've went and got a tattoo.
I thought there was one of. I thought there
good.
was a face one of that came up a couple years ago that was
There might
maybe UT and Matt or something.
That's intense.
It was.
Oh, wow.
It was
That's
definitely.
a little
Or it
much.
might have been Sarah. It
might
was.
be much.
I'm pretty sure your face is on someone for sure.
I'm sorry.
What angle was that?
Why did I do that?
You walked by me.
Hopefully it was my good side.
Wow.
It is like one of the things that's been interesting to be around now. And I'm not saying any of this from an ego perspective. I'm literally just talking about what life is for you. But to be in a space where you're recognized and you're famous and people see you and know you.
Celebrity.
Yeah.
You say web celebrity. What is that? I like that, like a website celebrity.
Yeah. Not been anything else but a website at some point.
But then to figure out how to live your life through some of that.
Hide.
It's a yeah.
Stay on my compound.
I get it now though.
Yeah.
I 100% get
Yeah.
it.
I love people. That's the deal. Is I love people, but
You do?
I get
just
like
kidding.
burnt out.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not an outgoing person. I'm not a, you know, if I was an actual real, like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or something, I could not function. And the good thing about being in Cookeville is nobody cares. You know, I'm just Janice's son most of the time because my mom's probably more famous in this town than I am. But
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just, like after training with Rich weekends on Sunday, I'm just go home and just sit.
Be with your thoughts.
Fried. Burn out.
But that is also actually something that's really cool and a testament to doing all these weekends. And like, I still remember the very first Train with Rich. And I mean, I've known you for
I don't.
what? You don't?
I remember the last one. That's it.
Oh, I remember all of them. Not
I
all
can
of
just
them. That's
block
not fair.
them out. I'm just kidding. I love everybody.
But your journey, even as a communicator over 6 years,
I have gotten way better at that.
I
That is
mean,
one thing that I've.
it's even like I was so impressed with the last church thing you did. You're really funny on stage. Rich, you're hilarious.
Jim said that the
That
other
was
day.
like, and just
Hillary said she got a bunch of comments about that. About, hey, your husband's hilarious. And she was like, I don't think you're funny at all. I'm
He's
like,
like, no.
thanks.
It is the coolest part about all this when it comes to your development as a communicator, that you're actually funny.
I
Like,
hate, and when I was like in college, I had to take a public speaking class. Every day I
funny.
dreaded going to that class. Now it's like, I wish I could go back and do that because it would be fine.
That's
you know?
cool.
you would 100%, if you needed to and you wanted to, be able to stand up in any group of people and talk for an hour.
Right.
Just start talking about whatever it is you think is important,
Right.
and it would be beneficial, it would make a difference, and would be clear.
I way more enjoy just back and forth with some type of moderator, but yeah.
For sure.
But man,
It's just
I
cool
used
to know you
hate
could,
that.
though.
Yeah.
Hate that.
Yeah, it's cool to know that's been a process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this has helped with that too, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, also, again, back to a testament to what you do, Silver, too, is I think you've helped all of us here in language.
yeah,
Because
be able to
it's,
articulate it.
yeah, and being able to like talk in front of people and in terms like when people ask hard questions, because at Train with Rich and things like that, people want to know intimate details about yourself that like, even like at the bar, we're not having conversations like that, but then someone puts you on the spot, and without that actually assessing that and putting that into words, you're not like, because at first it can be a little overwhelming when someone asks you those questions.
The coolest thing, like Into the Storm podcast, is one of my most favorite things to do.
Same.
And I use it to hear what's being said and then to find the truth and to make it applicable in my life. That's 100% what I'm doing. And it challenges me. It's a space that really challenges me, where I'm like, okay, pay attention.
Right.
Like, hear
Don't
what's
doze
being
off,
said. Like, stay right here,
Do
stay
I believe
present.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, do I, don't I? How does that actually work in my life? And that's why that's powerful to me. I'm not in a that's how I use that. If it's not in language, it's not a tool. If you can't say it, you can't do it. I mean, that's just to be human. And so I think we all need those places
Yeah.
in our life where we keep challenging ourselves that way, you know?
I think that's what's really cool about Into the Storm too, though, is because I do listen to it. By the way, my dad's email is john@kabord.com. Way back when you guys were talking about dumb questions and that came up. That's what my dad's email was.
I'm like, wait, what?
Wait a
Anyway,
minute.
back there. Yeah, I finally got to that episode and I was like, what? I like literally spit my water out. I was laughing so hard. But I think the really cool thing about Into the Storm is when people get wrapped up in like, you might listen to sermons and things, which are great, but hearing you guys, the relatability of what you're talking about really brings it down to earth for a lot of people, I think. Because sometimes you think how premeditated, how thought through are the things that people are saying, but you guys like on the cusp relate it to like what's going on. And I think that's really, really valuable for people to hear your different perspectives in that regard. You know, it's not like, oh, this sermon was laid out, like, which is fine. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just cool to hear how it's related personally to someone's life in 4 very different lives.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think you got usually Jim or Jim's kind of has the like heavy foundation in faith, kind of trying to figure out what it meant, and then you have Meals, who's basically his entire Meals is on it a lot, or Doc Phillips is kind of in that spot. They've had it, and it's been in their life, their entire life. And then me and Tasia are relatively new, or and just different male female perspectives. So I think it's great. I enjoy it.
The coolest thing when I look at this whole Mayhem thing, Into the Storm thing, what I'm thankful for is that, and what's nuts is that your success as an athlete
Feel that, yeah.
created this space for a bunch of people to talk about and live out their values. And that's world changing.
Yeah.
To take who you were as an individual and what all that meant in your life, and then to think about, I try to break this stuff down, like who you were as an individual, then who you were on a team and what that meant and how that changed your life, and now legacy for your future and what it means when you're eventually going to be done competing, whatever that means, and to be able to take that and then for lots of different people to be able to live out their values. What more do you want?
Right.
Yeah.
How do you want it any other way? I mean, and then for you to get to kind of have it be like you want it to be
Right.
be able to create space to live the life you want, to connect to your children and your family. That's cool.
No,
I don't know how you live a better life than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
even know what I'm saying here.
Totally. And
Other
changing
than-
lots of lives. I mean,
Yeah.
something I had, Torn came in from CrossFit HQ to film some stuff for Haley and Rich and the team.
He's
and
so
we
great.
just got, he was great.
He's so
we
awesome.
just got talking about, it's really cool how God works, and to a testament to Rich and your family and Mayhem and everything here. Like, the life I live is far greater than anything I even imagined. And I've told you this,
Yeah.
like far greater than anything I've ever imagined. And that's by just you guys being you and like creating this environment and bringing people in. It's so crazy. And obviously by the grace of God, but to just think that that's possible, life-changing.
I think like what I love about the sports, I think we have to have answers physically, mentally, and spiritually in our life. It's just true. Yeah. I don't know how, I'm not because I say it is, because that's who we are as human beings. This experience on this planet is principally emotional. It starts with feeling, and we all feel, and then somehow we got to be clear-minded about who we are and what we're doing, and we're all trying to make the biggest choices and decisions based on what we believe. And so somehow we have to be able to formulate those answers for our lives. And what's cool about, I don't know, I'm not trying to
No.
pat you on the back or to do all that.
Is it getting awkward?
Yeah, definitely
No.
not.
Can we move on?
We'll remind you.
But to be able to get to talk about what we believe,
Yeah.
the way we
Sure.
believe it in all those areas, is good.
Yeah, no,
At
I
least
agree.
It's good for me.
And I think it's, a testament of everybody who's been a part of Mayhem from the beginning and different stages and all that stuff that,
Yeah.
we get to kind of live how we want to live, and people can take it at face value,
Yeah.
We're not telling you what we think you should do. It's just, hey, this is what's worked in our life, and this, that's what I like about, Into the Storm. It's one, we kind of started it for others, but it's been good for me to kind of like, what does this mean to me? How, like you said, how can I apply this to my life? And then also, it's not, hey, this is, you have to do this. This is like, this is what we believe will make your life better.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is, I think.
And then the other piece of this I think is important to say, like, because there are people will be watching this, but like lots of people see this from this perspective,
Yeah.
Or they see YouTube, or they see, and there's a lot of positive in all of that. The perspective is good. They don't get to see our personal lives where we're not perfect and we're fighting for it.
You don't see me yelling at my
like-
kids on a constant basis.
Yeah, which is all very true, and
Right.
and we're not even trying to hide that.
No,
we're not trying to hide that at all. We're trying to say, holy crap, and I'm just a dude, and I don't have it all
no
figured
better
out.
than any
And
other person. I just work out a lot.
if it literally weren't for those values, I would be in a ditch.
For sure.
I would not make it, other
sure.
than I'm paying attention to what that means for life and fighting for those answers there. So I don't want. There's so many people that have come in and out of this from the time this started,
Yeah,
when it
for
was
sure.
just you and
Yeah.
your team training in the barn, and there wasn't anything else really
Right.
other than you guys just trying
That
to get
was
to
it.
the games.
Not
And
thinking about anything else. But
all the
winning.
personalities of people, and they see value in it, and some of them are offended, and what are you going to do? Man? You
Yeah,
just
sorry.
like literally just try to be as authentic as possible.
Yep.
I'm trying to say I'm sorry in the spaces where I screwed up. Please try to get some forgiveness. Some of that stuff in my life, I haven't even been able to recover.
Yeah.
I got one person out there who, man, and I ain't ever going to get it back, and it breaks my heart month after month after month, and it's my fault. And I'm going to pay for it for the rest of my life,
Right.
and probably loved him like as a brother closer than anything ever, and I'm never going to get it back, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And every couple of months I send an email off and there's zero response. You know, like I'd do whatever it took.
Yeah.
I'll write a check, I'll do whatever it takes. You know, like that's horrible, but that's life.
That's life.
Some of that's life. I've done everything I can do.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think it's important sometimes just for everybody to know it's totally not perfect. Holy smokes.
No, definitely not.
Totally.
And we ain't trying to make it be that way either.
No,
we're just
no.
we're just trying to stay.
Speaking of people that have been in and out and all that stuff, Darren was here this weekend.
Oh,
Did you hear the
Danner.
story
I love
about Darren
Danner.
in the store?
No.
I went to buy a shirt. I went to buy a shirt, and you know we have our stipend.
Yeah.
And I saw on the sheet. Is that what you're talking about?
What
I don't
did
know
he
the
do?
backstory, but
So Dre, I have nothing to do with any apparel and how the store goes, but Dre's starting to crack down on people taking stuff. So there's, I guess, tiers of like what percentage you get off or whatever, and you get a stipend or whatever.
you get $1 amount per month of what you're
Darren
on.
is second tier. Because Darren's no longer, I mean, he was a director of the gym, you know, Josh's spot, and Darren's no longer in that spot, so Dre, I guess, demoted him. I just happened to walk in. I was looking for him because we were about to go home, and he's freaking out, freaking out in there. You know how Darren is. And he's like, "You see this? You see this? I built this thing for 10 years. I leave, and I'm second tier." Oh, it was
Losing
I
his
can see him
mind.
and I was like, "Hey, man, you
But, like,
forfeited.
funny.
You forfeited first tier as soon as you crossed that state line."
So
Like, hey,
funny.
sorry, bro.
Oh, I
Short
can see
memory
him.
around here. You know,
I saw the sheet upside down.
friends to the end, and this is the end, my friend.
Yeah.
That's good.
I saw the sheet upside down, so I couldn't read it exactly.
Yeah.
But he wrote in blue ink, marker ink, and it said something like, this is not a quote, but it said, "Always free for me, I am Mayhem." Something like that.
That's what he kept saying.
right.
That's what he kept saying. I am Mayhem. There would be no Mayhem without me.
Oh,
it
he's
was
the
so
best.
good.
Oh, that's so
I was like,
funny.
"Hey, man, take it up with the apparel director."
Isn't that Dre?
Yeah, take
Yeah.
it up with Dre.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, it was so good. Oh man, I wish the whole thing would have been on film because it was. I walked in on the probably middle to end of it, and he's like, Michelle's in there, Jaden's in there, everybody, and he's just freaking out.
So
Should be
good.
like
So good.
So good. That makes me laugh.
He did
Yeah.
teach me some slang this weekend. When a song is really good, you say, "This song slaps."
Slaps.
Apparently.
Where did Darren?
I was gonna say, where did that originate from
the
for
kids. I don't know,
him?
Paige.
Kid.
Paige.
Oh, okay.
Not his
Paige.
small kids.
That makes
okay.
sense.
Apparently that's like hip. Like
me-
this song
This song
slaps.
It slaps.
Means it's good.
Are you Googling it?
No, I'm trying to find some slang. There was some slang the other day
I'm
that
gonna look up
Song
this song.
slaps.
slaps. I was thinking about slang.
Something like that. So, or I think if anything's cool, like that workout slapped.
What does
I
will
this
not be
song
using
slaps means?
Shoot.
Someone finds extremely good.
See?
Slap is slang verb meaning to be excellent or amazing.
You learned something from Darren.
I did learn something from Darren.
Not
I'm
many
not sure
people
it
can say
brought
that.
much value to my life, but
Usually he makes a lot of stuff up, and you're like, no, there's no truth
No.
to that. They were talking about when AJ and Darren were there, and Darren's like giving them the tour of just, you know, where they live and around town, and he was talking about something, and he made up something, and he was like, I don't even know where he got it from, but there was a Swiss flag, and he's like, yeah, that's a cult of nuns or something like that. Completely made it up. AJ was talking about it when
It's a cult of
he's
nuts.
so funny.
He some of his stories, and I wasn't here enough to really be around him a whole ton, other than he was coaching that first class I would ever come to. But some of his stories are legendary.
Oh,
Just
Darren's great. I wish
He's
he
such a
hadn't
good
left,
storyteller.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's so funny. Oh my gosh.
I ordered
But there's not one person on this planet that frustrates me more.
Then Darren.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I love. He's like my little brother. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
he is my little brother. But man, there's just, and he's an incredible athlete, an incredible coach. But there's just I don't know. He's got so
Like
much
that one
the
time-
potential that he
Yeah.
has that
Yeah.
he just
He
doesn't
is.
care.
One of my favorite.
And it's such a like big brother / parent thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm just like,
Yeah. Like when he left and he took that computer with
oh,
him.
I wanted to strangle him. It was such a Darren thing to do. Did you hear that story?
No.
It's an iMac Pro, like it's 27-inch computer. And I don't use a computer.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm still. He's like, hey, he texts me and he's like, hey, I'm gonna take this computer. Just how much you want for it? And it was in my office that was going to be Josh's office. It was mine and Darren shared an office, but I never used the computer. But it was going to be Josh's computer. And I never responded. It was like, he texted me the day he was moving home. And I was doing something, I can't remember. He took the computer. He just took the computer. Didn't even like.
He was like, no response means yes.
I was pissed about
He's the
that.
epitome of what is it when they say ask for forgiveness,
Oh, yeah,
not
yeah.
permission.
Yeah, ask for forgiveness, not permission. That's Darren.
It's so funny what you're saying about to be frustrated like you are.
Yeah.
Means you really love somebody.
Yeah.
That's totally like how it is with the parent to a kid. When you look at them, you're just like, if you could
Well, there's, like for me, I've had to over the last probably year. I've actually thought about it in this perspective, and it's just perspective, which you always talk about. And I think for years, me and his older brother were best friends, 12 days apart, best friends. And I think I tried to project who Donnie was on Darren to me, and Darren's 4 years younger than me, just different. And, I always was like, Donnie would have done this and blah, blah. And I'm like, he's not Donnie. And that for me, last year, I'm like, I need to disconnect that, like.
That's big.
That's huge. You arrived at that. Wow.
Yeah, for years.
Oh my gosh.
The stuff that he would do, I'm like, your brother would, and I never said this, so I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, he would never do that. And then I'm like, it's not Donnie. Didn't matter if we were right or wrong, we'd have each other backs. And in private, we would rip each other apart. Wow. Donnie. And then Darren's just not like that. Darren's the peacemaker, like, oh, I'm not going to pick a side here because, and I'm like, that's not how it works. Like family till we die, And so I'm like, I need to disconnect. And that's been something that's helped a lot with our relationship, I feel like. Then I'm like, and it's not fair that I did that to him, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That's
really
amazing.
Good
that's awesome.
Holy
of just
smoke.
like understanding that over time, for sure.
Sometimes like the intensity in who you are, moving and competing and all of that.
Yeah.
Because to you, many of those things are really black and white.
Yeah.
It's super dry.
Yeah, you're either on this side, you're with us or you're against us.
There's no gray. We're not playing in the gray here.
No.
And his makeup is different.
Yeah.
It's a gift
Yeah.
to be able to walk into that gray and have everybody be okay. It made him a fantastic coach.
Oh, he's an incredible coach. He can relate with people. People loved him. Great.
Yeah.
If I'm going to coach somebody, I'm walking in like, hey, dumbass, don't do it like that.
Yeah.
No, that's not really how to communicate the right way. And Darren could go in there and do that.
So Tasha, AJ's wife, is really big on Enneagram stuff. You ever looked at any of that stuff?
Yeah.
It's what do you think of that?
It's good. Good perspective.
I don't have the patience to take the test. I kind of went through part of it, and I was like, I give up. But the one test I did take a long time ago, I feel like I was like an 8 with a wing 7 or something like that.
That makes
but
sense.
they were saying Darren's, I guess, a 9. He's a 9, which is like the peacemaker. You just like start reading off the things. But it is pretty interesting when you look at some of the Enneagram stuff of like who, you see people and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like that's who they are. So
Helps you understand their behavior
I need to
better
get into
too.
it more, I guess, because it would help with relating.
The sheriff's office that I worked at, they did a version of that kind of test, only it was with colors.
I just feel like it's too open-ended on some of the questions. I'm like, I don't. It's like you feel strongly, and I'm like, I don't know if I feel strongly about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had colors that identified 4 categories, and they would actually put people on teams based on their colors because each one of you has a characteristic that makes you a good team in that space. And it worked. Really? Like you could put somebody together in groups of 4, and one person's kind of the fire starter and gets things rolling, and one person is the analytical person who kind of helps analyze it. Whoa, slow down. The other person feels it a little more than everybody else. And then inside of that, if you give everybody the space to be that kind of a person, you actually can get a lot done. Like, that's you, that's me, that's you, boom.
Yeah. It's good to know your personality traits because then you can use that to your advantage, right? To create the best environment because you're different than, I'm a 2, so I'm a helper. So I'm a little bit more passive and you're a little bit more aggressive. Or what's yours, Ellie?
I don't really remember which number I was. I just read a little.
Yeah, mine were like equal 7 and 8, so I'm not either. Like I'm kind of in the middle on both of those.
Well, if you think about Brat, Chase Hill's
7, 8.
wife, she's an 8.
Yeah.
So like similar, I feel like personality types.
That makes sense. Yeah, because Brittany runs Chase's show.
And Chase is probably like a peacemaker or something.
But yeah, we were doing a workout at Train with Rich, and we're doing the toes to bar. And I'm like, what do you want to do? He's like, whatever you want to do. I'm like, we did a set. We got to 20. I'm like, what do you want to do now? whatever you want to do. And I'm like, just give me a number.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
We're going to start. And that's what I told him. I was like, you got to tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me. 15, 20.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's an outlandish number, just say something. And if we get to it, I'm like, hey, that's a little too aggressive. Then we'll back off. But I need some feedback.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that's totally the difference between a decisive person and I don't want to use the word pleaser, but like indecisive, like, because I've experienced a lot of personalities like this in my life that are like X's and O's, black and white. Like, that's like my dad, for instance. Like, he's like this, that, like, there isn't an in between. And like, it comes down to the question, like, when someone asks you like what you want for dinner or something, or where you want to go, I just want to go wherever makes you happy, because I don't have a preference. If I had a strong preference, I would tell you. But all those like personality tests, reading about that, like, it infuriates they're like, if you can't make a decision, I'm losing respect for you. And I'm like, but I really don't care. So
Have you
it's really
seen
interesting.
the meme of The Notebook where he's like asking, they took the part
What
where
do
she's
you want?
screaming. Yeah.
What do you want?
First he's like, when you ask someone we want to go to dinner, he's like, what do you want? And she's like, I don't know.
Yes.
What do you want?
It's like,
You have to look it up. It's so good because
relatable.
bring it to dinner, it's something simple like that.
We
Yeah.
did this yesterday. It was me, AJ, Austin, and Scott. We dropped the girls off at Target after a football game, and we took Lakeland and Indy, and we were going to get food on the way home. And I'm like, AJ, look up somewhere to go. He's looking up, just reading. I'm like, I don't care. And AJ's like, Austin, you pick. Austin's like, I don't want to pick. Scott, you pick. And so we're just, it blew my mind because I didn't want to pick. I didn't want to pick either. I'm just like, just tell me where to go. I'm driving.
Yeah.
I can't look at a phone. Just tell me where to go. And so it was.
We had to come. My wife and I had to come to the agreement in our relationship that because she's not going to care. She's happy to be wherever, and that's really actually true.
Yeah.
She doesn't, and if she does, she'll tell me, kind of a thing. Yep. But she never tells me, and then I've had to tell her, like, look, sometimes I want to do for you. So if you won't tell me, I can't.
Yeah.
And a part of what I want is to try to be a blessing in your life. Like I want to intentionally be able to do that. So when it comes to restaurants, we no longer have that discussion. I just simply decide what I want to eat, and we go there.
It's so real.
Unless she says I'd rather do something else, and it works.
There you go.
But it took me a long time to. I would be pissed. Like, why don't you tell me where you want to go?
Tell me
eat?
where we're going.
Right?
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, I've even said that.
You know what's a really interesting one too is Ben,
Ben's
you're
back.
is how people process anger. So there's like a lot of research in like personalities between like there are legitimately people. So like we all have encountered like, well, I'd like to hear what you guys are just out of curiosity. So like when you're really, really mad, like me, I would rather like talk about it right then and not have to stress about it. Some people, as I've learned from reading all this stuff,
I walk away.
they like legitimately, they need a day or two to process it to then communicate about it. So think about it like in terms of like friendships, relationships, whatever. If you have two people in this situation and you're someone that likes resolution quickly versus someone that needs to take a walk, one person is going to have to compromise to figure it out, but understand that the other person is like legitimately losing their mind. Like that's like, so it's a good thing to know about other people. So like if I know like, Jim, you like made me so mad the other day, but I know you need a day to talk about it, then I'd be like, okay, that's how it's not like you're cutting ties and we can't communicate. It's that this is how you need time to process or whatever, which I found really valuable in my life from trying to figure out what other people's angry styles are, if that makes sense.
Have you ever been angry before?
Yes.
It's a pretty regular occurrence if you've been in a bar.
Okay, stop.
I didn't know. You know how important words are to me, so I don't know if that's crazy or angry. I'm not sure which one of the things. I'm just kidding. Oh, we got jokes.
Stable, you know.
I have to like. I like to talk about it now because I process by talking.
Same.
And so that's a problem sometimes because people and close people to me just, I just need a minute. Let me just.
See, I just walk away and try to forget about it. I don't even need to process
He's
this.
like, we're
I'm
not
going
going to process later. We're just going to be
We're
done.
just going to be done. I don't really have that strong of opinion about this, so I'm going to walk away.
That sounds like my family.
I think as I've grown, I've learned to be slower, to like take a second. Because I'm like you, I want to talk about it right away. But sometimes your perspective will change if you give it some time. You know what I mean? Like if you sleep on it, they say.
That makes sense. Some people don't have the ability, like it actually infuriates them more if you're pressing to talk about an issue. That's kind of one of the things they were saying is that like, yes, to your point, like some people need time to like process it, but other people like their processing of emotions takes time. So it actually makes them more angry and upset that you're pushing it. So you end up with more conflict, if that makes sense.
For sure.
So the pushing of it on someone that isn't capable of talking about it right away just ends up making someone catch on fire.
I think values help us be critical thinkers, and using values as a lens is very different than a rule. So if we just live by rules, then we're just rule followers.
Yeah.
And if we live with values, then we apply those values and then we figure out what to do is right. So in my life, in this regard, I actually have a rule. Rules for me are a safeguard. It's like a reserve parachute. When my ability to keep my emotions under control and live my values, when that doesn't work, and that's rarer than it used to be, I have to use a rule. And the rule is, for me in my life, I'm not making any big choices or decisions without waiting for 24 hours. And I'm not going to get in this major conversation with somebody based on all this emotion. I'm going to wait for 24 hours.
Yeah.
I don't even write myself an email and send it to my junk email address.
Give your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
That's
I'll go
smart.
fix it. So that rule is my kind of safeguard.
I like that.
Yeah. So if you hear me say I have a rule, you know I'm pissed. You know that I've arrived in a space where I can't control it, and then I'm falling back on my rule. I'm not living my values, and my emotions are overwhelming me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's so good. I've done that before where I type like in a note, something I'm going to say. I'm like, so it's like this. And then you give it a second. You're like, okay, I'll change it a little bit less. And then like as the time goes on, you're like, okay, I guess I'm
just going to delete that.
There are only.
I usually send it to Jim, and I'm like, what do you think of this?
That's true.
That's what I do.
I'm like, Jim, let me talk through this.
I've done that multiple times.
100%.
Same.
100%. There are only two places on this planet. There are only two places. As God is my witness, with all of my with my code intact. You know what that means to me? There are only two places where I will send emails unfiltered. One is my best friend, and the other one is to you. I will send the truth. Now, when I
You call me your best friend?
Did we just become best friends?
You guys are being too nice to Rich on this podcast.
You can have your coin now.
Jeff gets me, so I know he'll never judge me.
Yep.
But with you, I will fight to be articulate with what I believe.
Right.
So I'm not, with Jeff, I'll just run off at the mouth.
Right.
Literally, I'll be like, blah, da bleep, da blah,
Yeah.
da whatever. With you.
Is that Dr. Seuss?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
It's a joke.
I live by values. Yes, I do. I live them at Mayhem and in a zoo.
That's one of the books that got canceled. Something about in a zoo. Yep.
I live them healthy. I live them sick. I don't know. Let's keep.
And you are a prick.
Yes, most people think I'm a prick. But I do. With you, I will try to say it exactly like I mean it, but intentionally.
Yeah.
Intentionally.
Yep.
And then I know, okay, it's safe. I'm just going to send that way, and it'll be whatever it'll be. I don't do that in a lot of spaces. I don't have to filter too much when I talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like when I've said this to you guys a bunch of times. Don't get me wrong, what I'm getting ready to say, because you're female and I'm male, and I don't want. We've never screwed any of that up, but sometimes I'll say, I've said this to you. Hey man, I love you. No, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that in all the right ways. I love you. Just so that there's some sort of
The
filter
man
there.
part or the love you?
That whole thing's awkward for me.
Hey, girl.
Oh,
He's been nailing it. He's tested it.
what's the young lady's
gosh.
name in the coffee
Amanda.
shop? Amanda. So she fixed it for me. It was so good. It was so powerful. I said, hey girl, and she goes, nope, stop.
Really?
Yeah, she like totally shut me down. And I looked at her like, what? She goes, you say, sup girl.
What's up, girl?
She's like, you can say that. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So every
girl.
time I go in, she says to me,
Yeah.
sup girl. And I
To
say
you,
back to her,
okay.
sup girl.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
That's where it is. That's what I'm saying
well,
from here on out.
Hey,
It's progress.
she must know how to slap. I don't know.
That slang slapped.
Oh, zooted. Zooted. Was that the word?
Oh, goodness.
What does
zooted.
that mean?
What's that mean?
Zooted. It
I've
means.
heard of that. I don't exactly know, but
Zooted.
So I got I order a chocolate chai tea
Meaning.
with
A quad
4
shot?
shots.
Oh, wow.
Of espresso?
I call it, so the drink, this is what I call it. It's large and dirty. That's the name of the
there you
drink.
go.
Large and dirty. Large size and dirty chai means
Shots.
Okay.
shots, right? And
Of
so
espresso.
the girl behind the counter the other day, she's like this kind of hippie girl. I ordered, CJ says, you want it large and dirty? I said, I want it large and dirty. And that's funny in itself. And she looks at me and she goes, you're getting zooted. I'm like, what? She
Yeah.
goes, you're going to be high as a kite with that much caffeine. Zooted
That's
is
what
high.
it says.
Gone.
Yeah, gone. Boom.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm going for too, by the way.
Learn something new
The
every day.
Urban
Zooted.
Dictionary says high on drugs. Wow.
Caffeine's a drug.
I just think of the Weird Al song "White and Nerdy." Classic. What's the actual version of that song? Something.
Riding Dirty.
Riding
Riding
Dirty. Okay,
Dirty.
that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking of
there you
first.
go.
When White and Nerdy came up.
I went and looked up
Did you-
zooted.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And it gave me these words as synonyms: slewed, blue-eyed, bowsy, crumped, wall-eyed, and blotto.
I don't know that I've even heard half
I
of those
know.
words.
I don't get it.
I don't know
I think
about
that's.
that.
I think
Were
you have to
in here
live in kind
when
of
we
a
were talking
drug
about Eminem's new
culture.
song?
It's right on my left.
Oh.
He said it was
Have you heard it or no?
No.
Oh.
No.
How'd the meeting go?
It was good. We have a very busy March schedule.
Yeah. Scott, trust me. Scott tells me about it every
Oh,
day.
dude, they're
Yeah.
stressed. They think I'm just gonna burn the place down. I
You
guess.
might.
Yeah.
I mean,
truly.
probably. Odds are.
Yeah, Scott's like, when we were going back and forth in Nashville this weekend, he's like, March, I'm a blah, 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 blah. March, video, March. That's all I heard. Drone, March, video, March. Drone, but March, video, FedEx.
We're not gonna
FedEx.
sleep. We're not gonna sleep at all. Rory's
FedEx,
like,
March,
no.
drone.
Take your rest.
Drone,
Go
FedEx,
sleep.
March.
We're not going to sleep at
Oh,
all.
he's so funny. Yeah, he's been saying for the last 4 days he's transitioned because he's been working out with us and doing the strength cycle and everything. He's just been like,
He's like, everybody peaks for the open.
Yep.
That's when I get the least fit. I'm like,
he goes, I'm not working out anymore. I'm too busy.
He's been
I was
working
like,
out
that's-
quite a bit. He says he's not doing the open though. I told him you wouldn't let him not do it.
I don't give a shit if he does open or not. I don't know why everybody thinks that I care if people do the open. I could care less.
I think it's just good
hate
for him.
the
I was
open.
going to say.
Same.
I just think it's good.
Invitation.
The other day, I
Hey,
think
do the open if you
Actually,
want to. If
this
you don't
is
want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
This
Are
is
you
the
doing
most
it?
no, this is the most excited
Tasia.
I've ever
No, I'm
been for the open to like cheer you guys on full force.
Yep.
Just not even be thinking about what I like workouts for
I could
myself.
care less about this
Pumped.
open. Is that bad?
I'm taking the judges course
I
so
was
I
going
can
to say, you're
judge
going
all
to be
you guys.
expert. You're going to be exhausted in your own right because you're going to be like certified
Fired
expert
up.
judge.
Like normally you
Yeah.
have this like terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach when the workouts are being announced. You're like, please don't let it be like something.
double
And-
unders.
Yeah, that was one of them.
It's a sign
and
that
so
you know it
now
well.
I'm like so pumped. I'm like, I can't wait for the first announcement. What's this workout going to be so I can watch everyone crush it?
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Good
I like
attitude.
that.
It's really
Like,
good.
you
We are
know,
getting the members more involved
Pump.
with
Cool.
the videos, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Cool.
Like on
Yeah.
Friday, we're gonna film them doing the Friday Night Lights because they're gonna do
Nice.
themes each Friday. And
Awesome.
we'll put that in the video.
What do you mean themes?
Like I think one night's like an '80s night.
One night's 80s.
Oh, they're
one
dressing
night
up and
is
doing
it?
superhero
Yeah.
night, and one night is
That's
movie
so
night or something
fun.
like that.
That's
Josh
awesome.
is gonna give like
That's like
it was
next level.
tokens or something.
Well, they're
to-
doing intramurals basically, so you're on a team and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Steven
that's so fun.
Gadberry, the our father, our priest
Padre.
buddy, he said, "Am I a bad person for not doing the open?" And I put the Wolf of Wall Street, where he's like, "Absolutely effing not." Who cares?
Yeah.
Aw,
Yeah, just live your life.
that's awesome.
It is funny that
If you
people
wanna
would make
do
the
it,
assumption
wanna
that
do
Do it. If you
You-
don't want to do it,
yeah,
don't do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do something when it comes to fitness.
girl?
Do something that makes you happy. Be happy.
Totally.
Be fit.
And there's so many different motives behind doing it. Like, it's a great opportunity to be part of a community and work
Yeah,
really hard.
totally.
But it's not like if you're in a position where it's causing you more anxiety, then maybe don't. Then find something else to, involve. Go be supportive.
Yeah.
Bring the one that brings muffins.
You can still be part of the community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it's a great opportunity either way.
I mean, I'm just
I
shooting
guess
for Ben
if
to make
CrossFit
it
HQ
to.
is watching this. Everybody do the open.
Sign up now.
To-
Ben's trying to make it to the third round, right?
I
In
was how
Knoxville.
close I can get. I don't
In
think I can
Knoxville.
make it, but
it's in Knoxville?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mid Atlantic got
That's
moved
awesome.
to Knoxville.
Wow.
Yeah, that's,
Convenient.
That's the third time I said Knoxville.
No.
that's gonna be really cool.
What do you
Oh,
Knoxville?
wow. How's
Ben,
it?
what do you not want to see in the open?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna tell you guys.
He's whispering.
Maybe
Like, what are you most afraid of?
I got a When I was
what?
over at squat, just 'cause my shoulder's broken.
Is it?
I
It's
don't
still,
think that'll happen, so you're good.
No.
So last night, sorry, completely off subject when we come back. Trice, I was going to tell you guys this story before we started. Like last night, I just didn't feel great. I don't know if my kids have taken turns who stays up all night coughing and keeping us up. So now it was Violet's turn. Well, Trice last night. And so I just wasn't feeling great. Well, about 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm kind of tossing and turning. I hear Trice start kind of whining. Dad, I don't feel good. I need medicine. I'm like, all right. So I get him up. I'm like, you all right? He felt warm. So I was like, dang. So I walk him out, put him on the counter. I'm like, give him some Motrin. Thanks, Dad. We walk back. He goes, I feel better.
You're like placebo.
Within like maybe 30 seconds. I feel better. Thanks, Dad. And then he's like, I want to sleep with you. I'm like, all right. It was awful.
Did he have a fever or no?
He felt, I didn't check his fever. Bad parent, but I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
He wasn't like full on sweat
Yeah.
or anything like
Right.
that. He was warm though, but I couldn't tell if it was because he was under a blanket or what, but he was like, I feel better. Thanks, Dad. And I hear Hillary just chuckle because I mean, I'm sure she heard us get up.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, she just starts laughing. I feel better. Good, man. Good.
That's accurate.
Glad that helped.
I love that he said, thanks, Dad.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Dad.
Dad.
You're going to be
Dad.
able to solve lots of problems in his life.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
You know, just by saying, hey, man, you're all right.
Yeah, you're all right.
You're all right.
Yeah, I am all right. There's been multiple times I'm like, you're all right. Okay, yeah, I'm all right.
That already happens. Like when he crashes
Yeah.
and you tell him,
Yeah.
you're all right, get up. And he
Dude.
does,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
He wiped out on the bike the other day.
Ooh.
So Lakeland's rule is she wants to ride up that hill. And I'm like, you can only ride up as far as you can pedal. When you get off the bike, that's where you have to stop. Well, Trice is on his little like Strider bike. I got him a bigger bike, but it's too big still. But he's riding that Strider. Well, I've made them all wear helmets now because, you know, I never wore a helmet, but it's probably smarter that they wear a helmet. But Trice starts, Lakeland goes up, I go up, I'm just riding back and forth with him on the bike too. Trice starts coming down. Wham!
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was the day Hillary left to go to Asheville, so he just has this gash on his elbow. And for 3 days he had a Band-Aid on there, and everybody that would, you know, come by is, look at my boo-boo, you know. And so now it's
That's
a scar, but yeah, he was just like gravel in his face. You know.
Oh, Trice.
Yeah.
He's a disaster.
You're just going hard, huh?
I grew up with 3 brothers. I'm all about helmets. The point
yeah.
I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
3 brothers, 2 of them which played Division I football, and the other one, so I don't know who he could have been.
Yeah.
But he wrecked on a bike early in life and spent the rest of his life.
Really?
Yeah, not all there from a head injury.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's so scary.
Just kind of being kind of a dude around town on,
Really?
you know, kind of not all there.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I'm like
Yeah,
all
no,
about kids and
we
helmets
never
now.
wore helmet.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
But you know, now I'm like, they're my
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna wear
Yeah.
helmets.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah,
So.
for sure.
There's no downside to wearing one.
No.
You know,
Ooh, I like
but it
that.
can
They don't
actually
look as
like.
cool sometimes, you
Yeah.
know. But
They have ones that have like mohawks on them and flames now.
I look
Yeah.
cool in a
Princess
helmet,
hats.
so it's fine.
You what?
I look cool in a helmet.
Yeah.
I'm not worried. I have a really big head though, so
Me too.
sometimes when we go places we have to put helmets on. I'm like, where's the biggest?
Yeah.
It's like kind of a 2X.
That's really true. Actually, you had to
Yeah.
size up when we were at Fort Campbell on that
Yeah,
helmet.
I was like not actually embarrassed, but sorry guys.
when you
this
couldn't
is
fit your ginormous head into a
in that
helmet.
helmet. Yeah.
This is the head God gave me.
Just
You're
kidding.
fine. It's fine.
Never mind. All right. I don't know. I
So-
don't know if you're talking about elbow pads or knee pads, but we don't
Ooh.
have those.
All the pads.
We just want to protect that dome. That's the
don't
big
know.
thing.
Lakeland, you're so athletic. I looked out at the trampoline the other day, and you're playing with some other little kids, and they're all trying to run and jump and flip. And like I was about to start clapping from the barn because you ran up and you jumped and you landed on your feet, and all the other little kids like hit like various spots of their body multiple times, and you just kept running and jumping and landing on your feet. It was beautiful, perfect.
She's really
10.
good at that. She's actually.
I mean,
really
it was. So, I mean, I
athletic.
stopped and like turned around because I was like, did I just? And then sure enough, she ran back and did it again. I was like,
The best
nice
is watching
job.
Trice, and he'll run, and he's running off the ground onto the trampoline, and he goes to jump, but he doesn't jump on the trampoline. He jumps on the ground, and then flips on the trampoline. But he does it every time.
That would end it for me. My back. I'd be like, oh.
He's just like hits, but it's like it's on purpose. It's not like he's missing the trampoline.
Yeah.
Like he just, I don't know if he
There's a
thinks
spot.
Jumps.
and then rolls onto the trampoline. And he usually like bounces off his head. Probably should wear a helmet on the trampoline, honestly.
Maybe that's
It's
what
an in-ground trampoline, that's why. But man, it is so funny. You'll see her run, jump, flip, land on her feet, and then you'll see
it's like
Trice and Violet
perfect
trying
every
to do the
time.
same thing, but he just it's like
Okay.
stick and then flip.
Are you still taking gymnastics, Lake?
Yep.
Yeah.
About to start soccer again too. I've got to help tonight actually. Lake and Violet or Trice and Violet's first soccer
Coaching?
practice. I'm
That's
the
gonna be
assistant to the head
so-
coach.
Oh, assistant to the head coach. Ooh, I like that. Assistant to the head
Brady,
coach.
our babysitter's coaching, and I guess
Oh, nice.
Which is
I guess
so
the
funny.
director of the league is like, hey, why don't you see if Rich will help you? Because that's a lot of kids to handle by yourself. I was like, I'm not head coaching, but I'll assistant
In
coach.
that age range,
It's like
I was thinking about shaving a stash and doing the Ted Lasso. You
You should.
gotta watch Ted Lasso. It's so good.
You should just be like too serious. Just
Yeah.
make people real cringe on the side.
do you know
Wear
there's
some short
electric
shorts.
whistles
Bring
now?
a clipboard. What?
Do you know there's so I actually had this conversation with my brother yesterday. He called me. He's coaching a 6-year-old group in basketball, and I was like, Johnny, I'm a sister. I'm like, you're not good at basketball. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're not good at basketball. He's like, they're 6.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, first of all, did you know I have an electric whistle? And I'm like, why?
Yeah, there was when we played in that tournament in Florida, some dude had an electric
Yeah.
whistle and he blew it like inadvertent whistle in the wall balls in the air. And so we stop, and the rule is if there's an inadvertent whistle, you can either replay the down or the offense gets to choose. Offense gets to choose no matter what. Replay the down or result of the play. But we stopped in the middle of the play and they scored. That same thing happened yesterday. We were playing in that tournament in Nashville, and we're down by 5, and a minute left. We go down. We're inside the 20. Guy blows the whistle as soon he was supposed to. He said it was the ready for play whistle. He's never done it. We end up scoring on the play. It was an inadvertent whistle. Well, they got mad. Well, then we're up 2, 36 seconds. They get inside the 20. These refs it's so bad that the director of the league or the tournament was like, hey, we'll comp your next tournament because it was that
Perfect.
bad.
Oh, wow.
Bingo.
The guy, because this is like the quarterfinals, the guy catches the ball as time expires at the 3 on his butt,
Oof.
but then reaches over the goal line.
He was down.
In flag football, that is
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
game over. Referee, who's supposed to be the back judge, is still he's probably 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, doesn't follow the play. He's in a terrible position. Even the guy on the other team was like, yeah, bro, we weren't in at all. They win the game.
Oh, that's frustrating.
It was
when it
frustrating.
comes down
And
to
it was the
it.
same group of
frustrating.
refs that the day before, we, as time expires, we go, it's 7-0. We score, make it 7-6. One of our guys catches a pass back of the end zone. All you got to do is get 1 foot in. He gets 1 foot in, toe of the other foot, and then his heel hits the line. Guy on the close, he's the line judge, but he's at the 2-yard line, says he's in. Guy on the opposite side, you can't see the lines. The back judge says he's out.
Oh, wow.
It was the same group of refs. It was so bad.
wow.
So
Well, it just
frustrating.
stinks that the acknowledgement of a free entry to the next tournament. Why not just fix the play?
Fix the result of
like
the
that
game.
just
What's an
is
electronic
frustrating.
whistle?
Oh, you just push a button and it whistles.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, we don't
Sorry,
know.
that was. Oh,
Is it around your neck? And your
No, he just has
he
like
says it's like
oh,
a great
just
like
a-
disciplinary advice too, because I just pointed at him and it's makes him
Oh,
stop.
so you just do that and it sounds
Yeah,
like a
it's
whistle.
just getting lazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, being a ref sounds like the worst
Oh, it's the
job.
worst job
Oh,
on
that's
the
the
planet.
hardest
No,
job
that's
on
not
the
me saying
planet.
they,
It's the worst job on the
But-
planet.
Because if you're the best,
Worst.
it's not like you get acknowledged for it, and if
No.
you're the worst, you get
Can you
crucified for
imagine
it. So.
reffing like a Super Bowl or something?
No.
Although those like big time referees do very well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
at
for
least in
sure.
the tennis world, they make like 6 figures and travel the world. And
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's a hard job. It's an impossible task, but. Whew.
I couldn't stand it when you say something and everyone just starts booing you and you're like,
I have the greatest referee retribution story of all
oh, tell
time.
me.
I'm a senior in college. Part of my minor was you had to ref a league. And so me and one of the guys from the class team up and we're reffing a youth league as a part of the deal, right? People are nuts. People are crazy, you know? So we're in
parents are nuts.
the championship game, but it was a girls league of 11-year-old little girls. Very end of the game, I called a charge or something. I can't remember what it was. Girl goes to the free throw line, makes the free throws, wins the game. I'm leaving the rec center. And some dude comes up behind me and shoves me.
Wow.
And I turn around, and he's like, you took the game, you stole it, it was my little sister, la, 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 you know, and I'm like, seriously setting my bag down because we're getting ready to throw down. Over an 11-year-old.
Silver.
So I'm just looking at this guy, and some fathers come over, grab him, control it, I walk away. Spring football rolls around.
He's on the team.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
he's coming out.
Walking out.
That
Walking
dude's
on.
coming out. Now, to make it even worse, or better, actually, I'm one of the only married guys on the team. So this guy, oh, this is the greatest story. I'm so happy to get to tell this right now. Everybody in that defensive secondary was a starter and a couple of All-Americans, so really good. And this guy wants to be a safety. He tells my wife, who's sitting along the locker room hallway waiting for me, hey, my name is, and I'm going to be the new safety here at the University of Northern Colorado, you know. And the safety is legitimately an All-American who played in the NFL. So he's incredible athlete. And then he hits on my wife. You know, wants her name, right? I tell the guys in our group who this dude is, just straight up who he is. The coach, this is not right. Oh, God, I love this. This is so good. I'm so sorry. Lord, please forgive me. Everybody had to put their name on their helmet. We had the equipment people put shithead.
I was about to say dipshit. Or
Yeah, on his helmet, and he only made it 2 days. He got destroyed.
Oh, geez.
And it was like, and that was the dude who did that to me at the referee deal
game?
at the game. And I just was thinking about what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
And we never said anything to him, but he didn't get through the drills, and he quit and he went away.
We have a guy
To
that
tell that story.
that chirps. We have a guy that chirps way too much, and it like gets annoying even to us. And it was so bad that this kid gets burnt on the play before the final score, and the ref starts laughing and like kind of taunting a little bit. And you're like, I get it because it's funny, but you can't do that as a ref.
No.
It's
No.
like, come on, man.
No.
Yeah.
So.
It is one of the hardest things.
Oh, for sure. It's the
To,
worst.
like-
It's the worst. I did it in intramurals.
Yeah.
It was awful. I hated it. But
It blows my mind that the baseball umps, that they, because of playbacks and stuff, you know how incredible they are at what they do, that they can like make those calls that are, you know, ball flying that fast, and then people can review it and like overturn it. That sounds horrible.
Yeah,
But
it's an
it's
amazing
incredible that
skill
they
to
can
be able to
do
do
it.
that and be
Like,
good at it.
it's-
Keep your
wow.
emotions under control,
It's
to
next
understand
level.
the
Yeah.
rules. It's a
lot.
discipline almost.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I would
powerful.
just be like, oh, Tom, okay, he got it right. So he wins. A quote by Tom Brady, his favorite ring is the next one.
Oh, holy smokes.
Okay, on that. For real, though.
and with that, peace.